Hey, welcome to the Kind of Late Show. I'm your host, Terence, and
He's thinking.
I think Token's life matters. My co-host today, Jordan, one of my closest friends.
What is up?
We're
The most recurring character of all time.
You are now the most recurring character on the show, so
Oh,
that's something I was full-heartedly. I wasn't say I was planning on, but I'm expecting.
Yeah.
You were like the most down at the start of all this. You were like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, let's do this. Like,
let's get the going.
you're the most down for everything.
Mhm.
Like you're always. So as you can see, our set's
As long as
improving
I have
more.
time.
I have some comic books now in frames. We're trying to find the right tone. I feel like I'm now like this is the brightest I've been in the corner. Like, cause like usually I feel like it's really dull in this corner from the lighting, and I think that's really helped by I did the two new lights in the corners with the blue and the warm to help.
Don't give away the sauce. Don't let them.
You could look this up on YouTube. There's people with better lighting than me on YouTube.
Whatever.
I'm not saying that this is like top tier lighting. I'm just saying this is some of the this. I feel like this is some of the best it's looked for the show. But I feel like the show looks better every week. We're trying hard. So today we're drinking. Okay, so it's February. So we're just because there's been a slew of topics recently, and the most recent episode of South Park, which I'm a big fan of South Park. We're celebrating Black History Month this week, which we didn't celebrate Black History Month last week with Hanukkah, which it's going to be tomorrow's episode for everyone else. But that was the one where we kind of just went on the tangent with the presidents.
That was just
we went on the tangent with the presidents because
that was just like the fourth.
I think it's pretty cool though that like we kind of associate February as like the month of the presidents because Lincoln and President's Day, but it's also Black History Month. So I just again going into
weird how
we'll talk about this later in the show, but I this kind of theme of that I feel like Black history is integral to American history.
Yeah.
And not like in a woke kind of way. Like I feel like there's this really fair argument to be made about, American culture and
as equal. As well, white people can.
I just feel like I feel
like
like Latinos, y'all should be doing a bit more.
A little bit. Just a little bit more.
I can say that. I can say that. So, but slew of topics. First thing to talk about. I want to talk about the most recent episode of South Park, The Big Fix. Token's name has been retcon. Oh, well, I already introduced you. I was Michael. I'm behind on myself.
It's Tolkien now.
Tolkien, named after the famed Lord of the Rings author J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah. As if anyone would know that.
Your response to that was, I wish we were recording it, but you were nah.
He's like, come on now.
Like I didn't want to tell you going into the episode.
It feels like it's they're trying to do like a whole Mandela effect on us.
Like a full on retcon of no, it's been this way the whole time. Like I think it's a clever way to kind of get out of modern racial controversy, and I think you get the whole thing with the whole like 1-800 you're a piece of shit kind of deal. The whole tone of here I am wearing
like we all thought
I bought this fucking shirt.
Yeah, we all thought it was Token. Like this is like proof. This is like written proof that it was Token the whole time. And then they realize, let's just fuck with people and just say his name is Tolkien now.
Like I didn't go back and do this, but I want to go back and like go through the episode like all the listings on the episode descriptions to see if they've changed Token's name in episode descriptions just to like fuck with everyone.
Yeah, I mean like whatever how many Token episodes there are. There's quite a few, so you probably could do that.
I'm just remembering now. So Black History Month, Token. We're starting with the Token episode. Today we are drinking because this is important. The people need to know.
Juneteenth edition of Crowns and Hops. Juneteenth edition. It's not June, but it's Black History Month, and
It's February, so it's good enough.
that is Black History. It says Juneteenth marks the day of the federal troops' arrival in Galveston, Texas.
Which we can talk a bit more about Juneteenth in a bit, but I want to stay on the Token episode for right now.
Yeah, I don't even want to read the whole can anyways.
No, yeah.
But yeah, this can's legendary. It's got a great picture.
It really does.
Sets the tone. But yeah, I think it's funny how they're trying to just make us feel, trying to like guilt trip us and just all as a whole, thinking that his name was Token the whole time. And it's obvious, like, yeah, they call him Token because, yeah, he was the Token Black.
A purple shirt with a T on it.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious, but, now they're trying to just switch it on. It's just a funny joke. But
I think that, again, we were talking about it after the episode.
Yeah.
I think it had a really good kind of thing going with the whole, when you kind of have this racialization of, like, consumerism and business, it creates this kind of inadvertently this bias, and by the end of the episode, Randy's inadvertently a racist now, which we kind of know Randy's been as he's danced on the edge of being a racist in the show, but by the end of it, you really get this vibe like, wow, Randy's kind of like really coming like I was telling you, I was ready for him to sit there and go off and start spewing all all the racial slurs.
But this was different.
Again, it was from a business aspect.
Yeah,
so.
it was all merited. But
well, in Randy's mind, it was merited.
Yeah, I mean, just the way it looks like racism. Anyone, the couple pulled up and said, "Wow, you're really racist, bro." I was like, bro, it's like, no, I know this guy. Like, I know this guy, like, So, yeah, he just, like, ruined the deal. But, who else but Randy?
Yeah. For real.
Randy's
Randy's
actually my favorite character on South Park. So, it's just, like, again, I really can't be mad at Randy. He's really, like...
Well, he didn't, well, he kind of came at it from he really came at it from the business type of.
Yeah. He wasn't,
because as much as he may have come off as a racist in the episode, clearly, like, the episode at the beginning was like, well, no, this is now him as a business person.
Yeah.
This is the position he's been put in.
Yeah, he kicked Token out. I gotta put the L in there. He kicked Token out.
He put his hands on Token, man. I was like,
and dragged him out and said, "No, get him out. He's a spy." It's true. It's true. What if he
called him a spy? That was like the cherry on top of the whole thing.
It's
the
like,
absurdity.
what if he was just only there just to get secrets on how to grow better weed and all that, and grow some integrity weed, and turn
some credigree.
Credigree. I'm not gonna lie. I would definitely go with credigree.
With the Elven whatever. I'm telling you, man. When he was like, even the Urukai, I'm like, dude, I'd get some Urukai Kush. Like, that sounds dope. Like, I know you were like,
I mean, that's too nerdy. They were going on. It's like, wow, he's really a fan of Lord of the Rings. Really? Who's that? I just knew the elves, the humans, the dwarves.
Right, like, all of a sudden you're just
hobbits,
like, you know what, Token, you're lucky your name's not like Bombadil.
The orcs, and then I thought I stopped at that. Who the fuck are the Uruguays?
Right, it's like, is Token's middle name like Silmaril? Like,
you're just losing me. You're losing me with these.
No, and again, that's like, I think they full on went into a lot of the other.
They went full.
They went into all the works, because like, even I think a lot the big one right now that everyone's like is thinking is a standard outside of just the Lord of the Rings trilogy is the Silmarillion, which is some other folklore book but they had him sitting there reading like the Tales of Tom Bombadil and all these other. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
I
I am.
I I read audiobooks. I ain't even gonna go through. I'm not gonna go through half of these.
I'm lost as hell. Like you got, it's like half of it is like old English shit, half of it is just making up shit as you go. Like I don't know what the fuck is
But
what.
that's what's great about South Park though is like they're willing to like go to like that level because
Yeah.
again like they one of the things me and Annika were enjoying about the episode was uh when Randy comes in to drag out Token is Stan and Token are sitting there playing fucking some tabletop RPG because it's been well established in the show at this point that they play tabletop RPGs. There's been like I think I want to say 3 episodes about it, but realistically, there's only been 2 where it was a major plot point.
Yeah.
And this was probably like the 3rd mention of their tabletop RPG.
Maybe it's give time. They're only just premiering it week by week. So
Yeah. Well, even like it's from like past seasons, and it's just something that's built on because like they did the whole like freemium isn't free, and we're going on a tangent now about just South Park episodes now, but they did the whole like thing about the like phone like free phone games apps and how they're all just like money traps. So Stan, in order to like to combat his and like Stan and his grandfather, in order to combat the addiction, both got into tabletop RPGs. So then they did another episode later.
I don't think I remember it, but
Yeah, it's such like a minor like ending plot thing where it's like
Mhm.
it's not even like a main thing, the tabletop RPGs.
yeah.
But there's a later episode where they have a tabletop RPG club at school, and now the girls are trying to get in.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure you remember that. And the girls are all like hard into it, like making minifigures faster, learning the games better.
Yeah.
And all the dudes are just like, oh fuck, like
Yeah.
why are the girls keeping up? And it's like, well, like because at the end of the day, like stats and reading up on all this lore shit, that's also girl shit. Like as much as like lore shit was like
Yeah,
that's
they get deeper into it.
it's like I knew a lot of girls growing up and like fuck like aside leaving Twilight out of it, like holy shit, like all of them had their own vampire lore that they were into.
Yeah, once they
or
get
like
into something, it's just like fucking.
or again like any chick that's like into crystals or shit, like they're reading shit.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they're reading the paperwork.
Like they didn't wake up and be like, oh my god, like I really need like the healing energy of crystals. They were like they read the shit and they were like, you know what, I get that, I feel that, I understand it, and I'm glad someone's out there is like telling me these ideas because I just thought I was the only one. So that's what happens.
Yeah, they pretty much
Which I'm not denying the healing powers of crystals and all the chakras and stuff. I myself am something of a Reiki master. You've felt it. You like my chi when I do like Tai Chi and then I have like energy
but
filling up my.
we were
Yeah, I know we were like talking about like
we're on LSD, so
you saw it. You saw my chi while you were on LSD. He saw it. He saw my chi.
I did see it.
He saw me work my. I'm over.
It was the LSD that helped me see it. But it's
I'm not.
I am not.
The LSD is to me more proof.
It is. You know.
To me, it's more proof that I have mastery of my chi.
More. It was crazy. It was crazy time.
Our youth was crazy. It was good times.
It was good times. But yeah, I saw it. I seen it. I seen the chi.
You seen my chi?
Yeah, I seen the chi. Build it up, but it's just something that's just always there.
Right now, if like people watching on acid would be like, "Oh my god, I can see it."
No.
Like, can you see chi or like auras through YouTube videos on camera? I guarantee you, there'd be someone that'd be like, "Yeah, you totally can. I do readings like that all the time."
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, anyways, that whole South Park episode was pretty.
And you saw the pajama one beforehand. They're doing a pretty good job at like again South Park. Yeah. Just again hitting.
So like at first it was like super crude and just like stupid ass jokes. Now it's super Nah, I'm not thinking woke, but just like the social commentary and just like they're really voicing their opinions through their cartoons and their episodes, and then at the end of the day they sound pretty neutral. They just want people to be good to each other.
Well, and like they came out as Republicans, and I think this
Yeah.
is a conversation we've had a lot. Is right now like a lot of people that, and again, this is something I don't like to refer to like Republicans and Democrats as like people. I would rather say something like people that vote Republican or people that vote Democrat,
Yeah.
because I'd rather prefer to say that these people lean a certain way as
Yeah,
opposed to
like
accredit them to a whole
they have
group.
nothing with the do with the group
Yeah, because at
values.
this point the group the groups that have those titles clearly have different goals and ambitions.
Yeah.
Similar to like Black Lives Matter. Like I believe the statement Black Lives Matter, but like the actual group, yeah, the group and
Organization.
organization, I'm like, I don't know if I'm
Even that,
gonna
yeah,
I don't know
like
if I'm
it
gonna give
used
my
to
money
be,
to
yeah,
them. Like,
it used to be like it at first, but now it's just like I don't know.
and then like
Absolutely, man.
they've
Like,
gone like deeper and deeper and dug more, and it's like you guys are just in it for the money, and it's like there's real causes for races here. You could have you really could have had
exactly.
you could have
Like the people who just started it, just
well,
like they're not even a
I
part
think
of it
there's
anymore.
again people that are
They just
triggered by like the all lives matter kind of statement. I think really the Black Lives Matter movement should have usurped it, become all lives matter, and then straight up like made every fucking shirt all Black Lives Matter, Asian Lives Matter, Indian Lives
yeah, yeah,
Matter.
yeah,
Like you could have had like a real good like Life Matters brand. And like not to say that like oh like this is like this is all a brand. I mean I'm wearing a fucking shirt. At the end of the day, it was brand
yeah,
that people all fucking. But you could have had a really strong movement of people all. This is the races all coming together, speaking out.
yeah, yeah.
You
But
could have had a really powerful all lives, and maybe this is
like
maybe it's a
there's
criticism of the all lives matter movement as opposed to
yeah.
the Black Lives
It's
Matter
like
movement.
who know who knows? Because I mean, this just started in like 2015. Now
Like
it's been around for
a
a
lot of
long
it, a
time.
lot of it has started in the wake of like
Early
the
two
Trump
two.
era,
Yeah, I
2015.
mean, like I feel like
When
yeah,
you have to credit the Trump era as to like the 2015 era because that's when he started running and that's when.
yeah. That's true. Maybe it started a little bit earlier though, but at the same time, it's just I guess.
Okay, well here's a good question in light of the episode theme. Me and Annika were talking. Do you think we still would have kind of been in this post-racial era after Obama, no matter what? Like, say Hillary Clinton won, do you think we'd still? Do you think there's a chance we still would have been this kind of hyper racial polarized, kind of attitude?
Mm,
Because as it was, Hillary Clinton herself kind of became a controversial racial figure. I mean, I wouldn't. Her Charlemagne interview was definitely not as
that's terrible.
broadcasted as Biden's interview, but she was the one that said, "Oh,
They're both
I
terrible. They're both terrible.
yeah." It's like she was the one sitting there. Oh yeah, I got hot sauce in my purse, and it's like,
It's like some people just sound like you're pandering.
well, yeah, it's like
Is it
that.
working?
It's exact like those were her exact words. It's
Yeah.
like, come on, like get the fuck out of here, get more real. It's like so. And that again, that's
She'd
my
be better off
question.
not even going. Yeah,
Like no
going
matter
with Charlemagne.
what was, and again, but now we have in wake of all that, we have a term for the type of person Hillary would have been. We would have had a Karen for a president,
Mm.
and like haircut and all. Which I'd like to point out right here, like '90s Hillary Clinton. Ooh, call me, um, dude, Hillary in the '90s.
Yeah, I guess so. Am I ain't
Dude,
tripping?
oh my God, ooh, the hair. Ooh,
She got that. She got that dump truck
yeah,
for sure.
dude, like right here, Hillary, call us.
Call us, but don't bring the hot sauce in the bag. Don't even talk
No,
about
yeah,
that shit.
don't even just and leave Bill at home.
I mean,
I mean, if he wants to watch you guys.
Bill has his own fun. I'm sure.
So, yeah. So, just do you think we kind of would have been in the same kind of? Because I
Maybe.
because I don't think Donald Trump was that exactly. You said maybe. I don't think Donald Trump was that truly controversial of a racial
Yeah,
figure.
never really affected.
Because even there was comedians out there like he's the blackest president we've had. You're like man, he's been on WWE. I like what he's.
I mean, definitely the most entertainment wise.
I mean, whatever like you think of his presidency, an American icon.
Exactly.
Regardless, like I have, and that was before he was
And
even
yeah,
president, and
yeah,
that was one of the things
that
that
shit
just
changes like every with the definition that changes every day. But yeah, definitely like American icons, like everything someone's been on TV and been in
movies,
movies
and
and
again,
just
and
like yeah, it's just like been
he was so successful, he became an idea,
exactly.
and again, then he ran for president.
Mhm.
What figure in history had been so prolific other than what like fucking revolutionaries,
Yeah, yeah.
generals, yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
fucking
generals
military
since like the
generals.
40s and shit like
Yeah,
that, and like
even before, even in history, it's you still
yeah,
would have had to been like this well accomplished figure
yeah,
to actually
mhm,
become that prolific,
exactly,
and you still would have had to accomplish like fucking Alexander the Great was an heir, but we still don't talk about his father. We still talk about him based on his impact on culture.
exactly. Took
So
over
we
like
were talking
fucking.
about Trump's impact on culture before he was ever fucking president. Like that's
It's a big impact. It's not
yeah.
just like a appearance in
In
like
in the 80s, he
movies. Yeah,
became the fucking symbol of American wealth and success.
yeah,
And so, oh, he fucking his parents gave him his fucking money. Well, that's part of the fucking American dream. Is that you want your kids to fucking do better than you did. And guess what? Who the fuck's talking about his fucking dad?
mm.
Other than all the assholes like, oh, he got all his money from his dad.
And other than how bad his dad looks.
Well, and then the fact that his dad was a racist.
Oh well,
Well, I don't know. Was it his dad or was his grandfather?
it doesn't matter. It could have been both.
I don't know. He
I'm
renounced.
pretty sure it's both.
He renounced the KKK. So it's like, but I
Yeah,
mean, like, what's the KKK doing these days? They like.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying like, oh, they're they're good, but like,
It's like when was the last time it was like
it's a club for sad white people looking for acceptance these
mm-hmm,
days.
exactly. They may be out there doing some
Like, was
shit, but you never really hear about it.
there's a comedian. I don't even. I feel so bad because I'm about to like rip off his bit right now, just explaining it. I don't even remember his name. I feel so bad. I'll refrain. Long story short, he had his friend wound up at a clan meeting, and he wound up trying the barbecue rib leftovers from the clan meeting, and he's like, "These were the best." The punchline was, "It was like these are the best ribs I ever had." I feel so bad because I can't even remember this.
I mean, it's just like
I'm not saying this was my joke. I'm accrediting this to another comedian, a very talented young black man. Like I can't even remember his name right now. I feel so bad.
I mean, yeah, I mean, just because they're white doesn't mean they don't put their foot work in. It's like some soul food cooking. It's like
Well, I think
it's a southern
this
thing.
this story took place in the South, so
Yeah, it's a southern thing.
it was very much.
People say white people can't cook because they don't season, but I don't know. I feel like it's different in the South for sure.
See, this is why we need fact checkers, because if I had
Yeah.
Annika here, she would immediately be like, "Oh, well, that joke was this dude," and she knows she's the dude that introduced me to the comedian too. She saw him live at when I can't say involved
Alright,
with
so
her.
let's move to the cultural appropriate.
Culturally appropriate.
Culturally a little appropriate.
This is why I pre-discuss my topics with my guests so we can move on to it. So I want to, yeah, exactly. You said it. So I want to introduce a term into the cultural zeitgeist. I want to introduce a term into the cultural zeitgeist. It's one that I don't think I've ever I'm not going to say I came up with it, but I derived it from another term, and the term was cultural appropriation. And I think there's an argument to be made when things are culturally appropriate. So I want to have a discussion about the idea of culturally appropriate. and this I think goes into very many things like people making foods, when it's okay to make certain uh accents, because I'm the type of person that specifically let's talk with impressions and accents, because I'm the type of person that when I try and sound like someone in conversation, when I say someone said something like a certain way, I'll try and talk like that person.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's not even just like someone like non-American. It's like,
yeah,
like
I had a chemistry teacher in my junior year of high school, and she talked like this, and anyone watching, if you were in class with me, you would say this was a very good impression of this woman. um and she was the princess in India, but she was like a fucking chemistry teacher here, and like yeah, um she was dope. Like I did not do well in that class, but she liked me as like a student, as a person, because I was fun, and
yeah.
and I wasn't too much of a distraction in the class.
Yeah.
But like I had friends. Oh my god, there was this beautiful girl in the class. Sorry, that's just me going on a tangent. I just remember this because I was young at the time, so I just remember like all of us were just like, damn, this is like this chick's like, you know how it is when you're young.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Young, stupid.
yeah,
never even talking to that chick.
Yeah, and like she was like in that circle of like the talkative kids with us.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, like
Well,
and like me and this other dude, and like me and this other dude got in trouble, like because I had a lot of fun with people in that class. That was a fun class for me. Um. So right. So my teacher had an accent, and I even remember I didn't want to be in that class, not because my teacher had an accent, but because like on the first day of class, she was like, "This is going to be a very hard class. I'm a very tough chemistry teacher. We were going to have a very, very difficult time. If you are not very dedicated to the sciences, I'd recommend you." So I'm like, okay, fuck yeah, I'm not trying. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not trying to be fucking.
Wait,
like.
What teacher was this?
Miss.
Okay, I never had her.
Yeah, she was you know, she's probably about the height of my mom, but Indian woman,
Yeah,
she was smart. Like again, it was a good like.
I'm sure
Again,
was
I was not dedicated. I was not a
never-
dedicated student
Yeah, I never
at
had
this
a-
point in the day. I'm not gonna say at this point in my life, because like I took my English class junior year very seriously, because my teacher was a very no nonsense
Yeah.
type of deal. But like I had too many people to fuck around with in in that chemistry class, so like there was no way I was gonna be a good student.
There's no way.
Yeah. And so, but I tried to get out of the class because she said it was gonna be very hard. So, I went to the dean's office, and back in the day, everyone went to go see fucking Mr. So, I went with my mom to go see. And I'm like, yeah, we're trying to get out of this. No, I didn't even get to see him. It was like my actual counselor we wound up seeing. So they were. So
that was the black dude, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
he was cool. Everyone liked him.
Yeah, he was pretty funny. I remember. Oh God.
He was cool. He cared about students, though. He was the type of person that I remember I like met him once, and I was like sick, and I straight up told him like, dude, I'd shake your hand, but I'm like sneezing and up a storm right now. I don't want you to get you sick. And he was like, oh, cool. I understand. But anyways, but I went to meet my other counselor, and my mom was straight up like, he doesn't want to be in the class because of her accent. I'm like, that's not what the fuck I said. I didn't want to be in the class because it's hard. That had nothing to do with it. You're trying to make me sound like a racist. And like, there I am in like, in like high school. It's like in my junior year, it's like, I'm not a fucking racist. I'm just doing good impressions of fucking my teacher. Like, I don't like see to the point where I'm like, now I'm like even getting a little frustrated thinking about it. I ripped off.
Yeah. I seen that, but yeah. So what? Yeah, you did a good accent. You did a good accent. Of fucking Ridge Holland.
Right.
I don't know. That was.
I love Seamus so much.
But you do a good British accent. Whatever you were.
I have gotten good. I have straight up gotten complimented on how good I can do a British accent, because when I was doing a show, everyone had to have a British accent.
Yeah, wasn't there British people there?
No, I had my stage manager was British.
Yeah.
So one of the characters had a hard Cockney accent, and I was sitting there doing impressions of the hard. Oh, governor, yeah. So I mean that was terrible right now, but At the time, I was doing really
good enough for me.
Yeah. All right. At the time, I was I was nailing all those impressions, and she was like, oh, "He gets it. He understands."
Oh God.
The boy knows the show. And everyone's now like, wow, and he started killing it on that British accent. But again, I wanted to sound like the person that that I'm trying to sound like. Like even if I was the whole joke where I'll answer the phone for someone and then answers like Brian or Sean. It's like, hey man, what's going on? Yo yo yiggity wo, yo yo yiggity yo. What's going on, homie? It's like it's just fun for me. So and again, on the phone, it's really easy. Like anyone watch like that's seen a few episodes and it'd be like, that's not what Sean sounds like.
Yeah.
Anyone that's watching though will be like, that's exactly what Ryan sounds like. If you know Ryan. But on the phone, like you get this nice distortion, so you can really like fuck with people. Like if you can kind of get close to your friend's voice. But again, like I don't think I can really do your voice. I've never tried to do your voice, but I've done a lot of like other black voices. But again, it's like, is that inherently racist in doing those impressions? And I think that leads us back to
it might
be because I know I've even done some of these in your presence, and I've like and in the back of my mind, I'll be like,
it's like I'm not offended, but it's
because generally for the most part, I'm doing it in context.
Yeah, doing context, and I'm like, I don't talk like that, but that's definitely like,
and it's not like I'm saying like
it's definitely like when like Tolkien's dad started doing the black voice, even though he's never done it before.
Yeah, it's not like oh yeah, my friend Jordan said, well, these things, my son, and I said I really like the grape soda. Like that's not what I'm doing.
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Like, yeah, you never done that.
Exactly.
But
it's like I try and be accurate for the most part to any interpretation.
Yeah, it's just like that's just that's like it's just definitely just a program
like
thing.
But like I'm sitting here like looking back at 5 seconds of my life, I'm like, fuck man, like I would never like fucking make any person sound like that unless they actually did.
Yeah,
like, maybe on a crappy.
It would help in context. Or like, obviously this person was black. Like, so now I can know the context of the story.
Like maybe if I was like doing like a hard Morgan Freeman like a terrible Morgan Freeman impression, would I do that voice? But like, Jesus, like
get busy talking,
exactly,
or get busy dying.
Oh,
it's a Morgan Freeman quote. I never even seen the movie. I don't even know what movie it is.
I like that we've reached the point where movie quotes are so like movies are so part of our cultural zeitgeist that people like have movie quotes.
You don't even have to know.
They don't even like. I love watching movie.
You know who's in it, but you just don't.
Well, not even that. Just I like watching movie reactions, and then people are like, "Oh, is that what this is from?" Like I've been saying that my whole life. I didn't realize. Like again, like
oh god.
Like I was watching someone do Terminator 2, and even just Terminator 1, and then they did Terminator. It was just Terminator 1. And again, like Terminator 1 has so many fucking bangers, and it's like, I'll be back. Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah. Fucking
like there's
a lot of things, especially Family Guy brings up like a lot of pop culture shit like that, and like you just like, oh shit, and then you actually see it, and you're like, oh fuck, that's what it's from. All right, that's what Family Guy was referencing. Okay, I guess
that's like one of the things I love about America.
It's like I guess this episode is actually pretty. I thought it was just stupid shit, but no, they were just referencing an old movie.
American Dad references Chitty Chitty Bang Bang so often, and or not even. I think it's between both shows. It was because American Dad did the whole car with the wings flying off.
Yeah, it kind of makes up for my small penis, right?
And then the Bag of Weed song is directly from, like, even the choreography is from the Me Old Bamboo, which is from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
God damn.
And like this was at the time like one of the most expensive movies ever made, and it was MGM's answer to Mary Poppins. Like they got Dick Van Dyke in it, and like they straight up wanted Julie Andrews, but she was like, no, I don't want to do this. This is just gonna be like, then it's just gonna be a Mary Poppins redo. It's like I'm not about that. Mm-hmm. So they wound up getting a different actress, but at the time I didn't like this movie because there's a character in it called the Child Taker, and he has like this long, ugly nose. And like, if you're a kid, this is a really horrifying character. But like now, like in my like when I like turned 20 and like at like once I became an adult, I really started to enjoy the movie just for
Mm-hmm.
its charm
Yeah.
and its production aspects. It's quite honestly probably like what probably one of my top 100 greatest movies ever made, just like
Damn.
just on merit,
Mm-hmm.
because just the people involved, what it
Yeah.
took, the
Yeah.
the influences, the financial backing at
Yeah.
the time. So all that said and done, how the fuck did we get here from like
We're talking about how Family Guy brings up a lot of like references,
yeah
or like even I just mentioned Family Guy because we're
what
talking
this
about
is
cultural
yeah
appropriate. So like it's bringing the character of Cleveland, who's played by a white guy for like so many years, and then out of nowhere, like probably the past few years, like people played like people of color characters being played by white guys was like not okay, no matter how good they do it, or like how the story goes. It's just like, you know what, just like I love watching the Cleveland show. Like, you're like, you know what, he got the mannerisms right down to the T.
even going into Apu, we just watched
Yeah,
the Bring
yeah.
Back Apu special with Akash Singh.
Yeah, it's not even like, it's not really negative, you know. It's like really positive character. You know, it's like he's richer than most of the white people in Springfield because he just charges.
And honestly, I think like Apu's episode, I remember a lot of Apu's episodes being some of just some of the best episodes, because I remember there's an episode where like I genuinely don't even remember the details, because like in my head they're like sneaking his kids out of a theme park. But like I remember there's yeah, I do not remember the details of the episode very well at all. But I just remember like Apu had a lot of like good storyline. I feel bad because I don't. But fuck, I stopped watching The Simpsons like 20 years, 10 years, 15 years ago at the very most.
Yeah, yeah.
Whenever the movie came out, that's when I stopped.
Just say, yeah, it's just too
I
many
think I
episodes
think
now.
for a lot of people that were like watching The Simpsons before the movie came out, that was the stopping point.
It was pretty good.
Which, okay, speaking of culturally appropriate, black representation on Simpsons was done way better, because I'm sorry, like I'd rather have Carl than fucking Bumblebee, man.
Was played by the same guy.
What are they?
Yeah,
I believe it.
it's a Hank Azaria.
Yeah. Okay.
Hank Azaria did like most of the voices.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm more offended by Bumblebee Man than Apu. Like Bumblebee, but again, like I I really hated being like a young Latino that was always like,
I mean, it's like
again, there was always this narrative that like
Latino TV is
la,
just
la,
like so
yeah, well,
over,
not yeah, well,
over
aside
the
from the
top,
over the
stupid.
top, like, well, hold on, I'm not too against the over the top, because I don't mind, when a
yeah.
novela's got some.
Who doesn't like
I
that?
don't. I mean, the women on novelas.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, the the whole comedic act is.
Yeah, there's a lot of it, and again, like I know what character they're making fun of, but I wouldn't know that character by name, because again, I wasn't that hard into Latin
Yeah,
culture, because
exactly.
I always felt detached from that part of culture.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, just over the top, just with ridiculousness and exaggerated expressions.
well, and I always felt that detachment from culture, right? This idea that that the Latinos were other was something that was always enforced growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you had, I mean, it was the '90s and the early 2000s of my youth, so hip hop was at the forefront of culture.
It's just like black and white shit, pretty much.
Yeah. So here's, again, it was we're in a post NWA era. Here's Eminem. So now black and whites are at the front of culture, and you guys still get a channel in a different language, and it's like, I don't speak a fucking different language. I speak this language, so now I'm gonna resonate with these people. Which this kind of goes into another topic we'll go to, because again, we're dancing around this. Oh, we're 39. We can dance around all these topics right now.
We're gonna dance. We're gonna dance around these topics.
Random dancing. That's an
But
iCarly reference. Greatest web show of all time. iCarly's the greatest web show of all time. We do not even realize how much that show set the foundation for what modern web shows are. I watched. Yep.
dang it.
Yep.
This shit just hit me now.
They became fucking celebrities and went to like Japan and like fucking like were getting recognized in the street and mobbed by people. She fought an MMA fighter before like Jake Paul fucking fought Mayweather.
Oh yeah.
There was a plot line in iCarly where she fought a fucking MMA fighter. It was Victoria Justice, but like
Okay, I was like, was there?
but it was like I fight Shelby Marks, and it was she fought a fucking MMA fighter for charity, and now we have fucking YouTubers fighting fighters for charity.
True that.
Right. So we were talking about cultural appropriate.
I guess as far as white people are just playing people of color on TV.
Well, and I think in a voice sense, it's obviously not as offensive if like something like blackface or something. But
yeah, so this shouldn't. I don't know. I honestly wasn't really offended on the shows I watched. Like go ahead, have Cleveland play like a white guy, still getting like the black narratives, and they even had like episode for the white sounding black people, and they had a whole ordeal with that. It's just
and not to like boost white voices in
exactly
in the minority. Well, I'm not trying to like boost my white voices in the minority space, but I still think it's important for us to hear out the discernment that white people have with, because again, I think just any cultural discourse with any talking about black and brown relations. I was about to say brack because I'm a fucking racist. Black and brown relations, or
racist Asian.
Yeah, Asian. Again, even like when I was in college, they talked about this, or at university, past junior college. We were talking about this thing with racial triangulation, and all the white kids did not understand this. And this was, where do other races think about themselves in relation to white and black people? And this was something white people just didn't understand. They just completely over their heads. But the TA that was leading this session, he was Asian. He was Canadian Asian. He grew up in a province close to, I'm pretty sure it was close to Toronto, and he straight up said like this is essentially like the Monterey Park of Toronto. And I was like, I knew 100% what that meant, because I knew this meant this was a heavy Asian community. Yeah, it's like, and that's just it. It's like, and again, because again, anyone that might watch might not know like what that, but this means that like this was a heavily Asian community. This was where a lot of the the immigrants were coming from, from China, Vietnam, wherever, trying to make their steak. This was the portion they were all flocking to, because again, we grew up in a predominantly Asian community, but that didn't mean we grew up with one type of Asian. We grew up with a lot of types. I grew up with Japanese students, with Chinese students, with Vietnamese students, Koreans,
and then even like Filipinos, and you realize that's not Asian, that's Pacific Islander.
Like I knew specifically some of the more prolific people I knew, or not. I don't know why I would say prolific, but I knew some of the people I knew more well and closer were Filipino, but I knew a lot of my peers were actually Vietnamese. But I knew like a good portion of them were going to Chinese school after school. And we'd always ask like, oh, well, what's Chinese school? And they'd be like, oh, you learn Chinese. And like I was so dumb and ignorant. I didn't know what that meant. And it's like, oh, they were like literally learning a different fucking language, like how to read and write Chinese. And it's like, oh, that fucking makes sense. I wasn't going to fucking Spanish school or fucking Mexican school, but they were going to Chinese school. It's like,
makes sense.
So, which I mean, I think there was a cultural grounding for a lot of like the more Eastern students that, and I don't know if that was just like their pop culture was hopping more in foreign countries or what. Because again I wasn't getting into like whatever Latin culture was doing at the time. I was digging anime.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
listening to hip hop and
yeah. There's a like
you
yeah,
know
there's an anime. There was an
fucking
anime club,
emo music.
but at the same
The
time, yeah,
whitest music out there at the time.
at the same time, you just knew that they were on some other shit.
It's like my name's Terence and I'm stuck in a coma. Like if you know, you know.
But yeah, I don't know. There was those, and then there was just American Asians that started those clubs and everything. What social clubs,
But that was just
service clubs.
I
It's like you could tell like who was straight up just
well that's just it is when again we grew up and we went to a mostly Asian dominant school, so they were the ones kind of dominating the social club scene,
mm-hmm.
but they were the ones that kind of had it in their head that academics was the path to being social.
Yeah.
But the rest of us, we were all,
I don't want to do all that shit.
let's go hang out at someone's house after school. I don't need to like be on
Yeah,
school grounds to
yeah,
hang
yeah.
out.
I don't need to look crow. Yeah,
Let's go get into trouble.
possible trouble. Yeah, yeah, yeah. True that. True
Let's go make some trouble. And again, not to like discount. Again, there was plenty of Asian kids that were also getting into trouble. Not to say that they were all like
Yeah, straight arrows.
Yeah.
But it's just it seemed like it was a popular thing to do at the time. Yeah, but speaking of with the school we went to and cultural appropriate, how long do you think Alhambra high school mascot is going to be a more in these times?
Okay, so you were talking about like how it could be kind of racist towards like Muslims and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But let's remember that Othello, the Moor of Venice,
Yeah, it was a black dude.
was a black dude.
But
so
our
does that mean
that
we were? Does that mean the whole time we were really like just the Alhambra black dudes?
no, it's like the more their version of the Moor is like those.
No, it was very much the Muslim
very
fighters.
very
Well,
Arabic
and get this,
descent, like
I'm not gonna
have you seen the PE clothes?
No, it was full on like the dudes from like the bad guys from Aladdin with the scimitars and the
exactly.
and like the vests and the hats. So I'm not gonna reveal my last name, but it was because my last name's of Spanish heritage.
Yeah.
So it full on like goes back.
Yeah, yeah, it goes.
It goes back to
Alhambra
like
is a city in Spain.
Yeah, so it goes back. So
Yeah,
it goes back to the Crusades.
I know, I'm
So,
ready because like someone giving
my-
a history lesson, like I fucking know that.
Wait, my family's crest was full on like they were honored knights in Spain, or from my last name, from my heritage. They were full on honored in Spain as knights because fucking fighting the wars and
Exactly,
killing fucking.
they killed all the black people.
Well, I mean
That's
the Muslims.
That's the Crusades.
Because again, it was also the Muslims.
Yeah,
it was just
yeah.
anyone not
it was a religious
anyone
war,
not white
but,
ethno Christian.
Yeah, but like, come on.
Yeah.
So exactly. So it's like, even like knowing that fact is just like how.
While we're on this debauched sense of racism in the Crusades, let's leave it. Let's bring it to a modern sense of debauched racism. Have you heard anything about this Whoopi Goldberg, the View incident?
She said something about the Jews, right?
Yeah, she said World War II was just white people killing white people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, as minorities, we understand that type of sentiment, and like no. But I think also like as people that understand like the way like okay, yeah, that's gonna set some people off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's still religious persecution, but it's just like
Well, and there's
but everyone knows it wasn't just Jewish people.
because they were also persecuting the gays and
Yeah,
blacks.
and Romanians.
They were going after a lot of people.
Exactly. So I don't know.
See, and again, you immediately brought it to the broader sense. Because
Yeah.
you know your history.
Yeah, I know history.
It's
so
like no,
it's
it
like
wasn't just
fucking,
like
it's
it was a
I
bunch of other
fucking,
groups they were fucking with too.
Exactly. So it's like I don't know,
Which again, at the same
like you
time,
make a comment and someone will bring up the history and
Well,
you'll be like, I fucking paid
well,
attention in history
and at the
class. I
same
know
time, the
this.
Japanese were slaughtering the fucking Chinese in millions.
Exactly.
So it's like we get it. World War II fucking sucked. Like, like I'm not gonna say everyone got fucked because some countries and groups got fucked a little more harder than others. But
yeah. And it's just like it really was just like a religious thing, and then this fact that it's like being Jewish as a race is just like it's getting old. It's really just like a religion.
I will not like because because you're right. At the end of the day, it's just it's a Middle Eastern Because again,
it sucks.
Well, it's like you'd be the first person to admit like, well, no, like everyone in Africa is black, so like everyone in the Middle East is Middle Eastern.
Yeah,
it's like where's the hard part here?
And it's and that's just like Eurasian, and then it's like
and we'll set some people off with this because again,
I don't think she should have got as slack as she did. She was
all those people,
dating. Kind of a fact, like.
Well, I see where people got pissed off, and I totally see where she was coming from.
Yeah,
and that's just it. It was like.
It wasn't like
and it's funny because
it it wasn't as slavery, and like the Nazis got their ideas and practices from American slavery.
Well, I think like the ultimate place of ignorance on her part is like her stage name comes from like Jewish culture. So like Whoopi Goldberg,
that's
you should be a little more
Jewish sounding name.
Let's be
ever if you had your eyes closed.
Yeah. So that one's on you.
So
I see where people are mad. I understand.
Yeah, I understand when people are mad.
I understand where she's coming from.
But
it's
there is some truth to it.
The racial lens in America is not perfect. It's a little blurry.
Yeah, I mean,
because
even there was this show on Adult Swim, I forget the name, where it's like all the races came together to fight the white man, and it was the black, the Asian, the Latinos, and then one of the characters was Jewish, and I'm like, that's not even a race. Yeah, there was also like a Muslim character too.
I hate bringing up other podcasts, but there's another podcast I watch, and they constantly bring up how they have a Polish guy that comes on their podcast, and by like I forgot what league or like what group, but by that group's definition, as a like a Polish Slovenian, he's a minority. He's not white. But he's like the palest motherfucker that comes on the show. And it's fucking crazy, like the way people like talk about this stuff.
Yeah,
and again, that's why like
he's foreign for sure. He's definitely like different.
Well, and he's like second generation. He's American. Like he grew up in he grew up in the States, but then that's just it. Is you and I that grew up in the States and were born in the States, we're like, well, like you're American. You've like what's the issue here? Like,
it's like like
you know what Power Rangers is, right?
Yeah, your parents may have gone through some shit, but you're really just like
you're here, you're chilling. Like what's going on, man? You want a beer?
Yeah. You talk like an American and everything. I wouldn't say normal. I'm not gonna say talk normal, but you walk and talk like an American. It's like, my choice is what you're
bringing it back to culturally appropriate and talking normal. We know for a fact every part of the America has a different type of dialect.
Yeah,
because we know that there's this Southern dialect, and like again Morgan Freeman's accent. Like it wouldn't be crazy if we saw a white person from the region have an accent that was similar. Maybe not to the same degree of like depth, but like maybe not even in terms of like the same accent, or well, it would be the accent, not the voice. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
mannerisms and the twitch of like
yeah. It's not too.
like
I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I
you
could
can
see it.
speak like Morgan Freeman without being able to speak like Morgan Freeman.
Yeah,
You just have to have that rhythm in your voice.
it's just something about it. Yeah, it could be just another just old white guy.
Right? Like
I'm thinking about it.
like that's I'd imagine Mark Twain probably sounded like Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I could see it. Samuel Clemens.
Sam Clemens probably sounded like Morgan Freeman.
Oh God. Yeah, I could see it.
And I bet like now, like if we go back and watch anything where like people do
Culturally, yeah.
voices of like
Is that
Mark
cultural?
Twain, they're
Yeah.
doing like a fucking Morgan Freeman
Yeah,
voice.
that would be cultural appropriate.
That would, yep, right, because that's a southern accent.
Yeah, and that's just American culture right there.
That's probably a good one to not talk about. No, I think we did a good job with just Tolkien on the culturally appropriate. No, we did on a good riff. We did
Yeah, yeah.
this was a good discussion on race. Which anything else? I mean, the main thing I wanted to point out at the end of this, because I'm maybe danced around a bit in the episode, maybe probably not. I think I danced around it. I know I danced around it earlier, which was the influence of black culture
Oh yeah, yeah.
on all minority culture in America.
Mhm. Yeah, like I mentioned the soul music, the yeah 60s and 70s
And I
and all
and
the
I know
soul
I
music
definitely said
50s and the
earlier I wanted
50s
I wanted to get a little bit into
and
this,
Chicano culture. Um,
which again I just want to reiterate that and it's my belief that, because I didn't say this in the show earlier. I know I said this to you earlier,
yeah,
but I want to say this for the show. Excuse me. Which is I really admire how um there was able I don't want to say black people, or let's say black culture in general. They were able to establish their own black American culture
yeah. Outside of
outside of
Africa.
African
Yeah,
culture.
yeah,
As much as there may have been influences from something like, let's say, like Rasta culture, but that's still something that's almost inherently American, because it's the islands of America, from
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
Caribbean, which are
yeah,
almost
yeah,
inherently kind of Western.
yeah. I mean,
But again, that even Rastafarian culture is still its own culture. You know, soul music and
yeah.
jazz in the
It's
early.
funny. The thing about hip hop, it was started by pretty much like Caribbeans. Like it was like yeah, Jamaican dudes before yeah in New York before it became I see like a black thing I guess. But as far as like rock music and stuff like that, it was like all American, and next thing you know, now that's just like the most popular thing. Like even like yeah, now African countries are doing like rock music, like metal music, and just
Well,
everyone.
and to the point is, that's it's the most American form of
Mm,
music, because
yeah,
that, again, jazz is a purely American art form. It
yeah,
wasn't something that it's something that's accredited to
yeah,
America, and
yeah,
definitely to eras like the Harlem Renaissance, and
yeah,
black culture definitely had a huge part in that. And that's just it.
yeah.
Is
It's like all those genres
the
pretty
the
much.
history of American culture at this point is now integrally tied to black culture,
Yeah,
and to deny that would be just flat out ignorance, refusal of the truth.
yeah, just
and
delusional
and
denial.
I look at other cultures, and they're missing out on the slice of pie. They're still looking at themselves as culture outside of. I mean, specifically as a Hispanic, I look at Hispanic culture, and we talked about it earlier. Every channel, there's Hispanic channels for in different languages. I don't speak that language.
Yeah,
I grew up watching fucking black movies, because those were
yeah.
the movies that resonated with me, because
Yeah,
those
yeah.
were the
Those
people
were
of
like
color.
available. That's
Yeah,
like all over on MTV and VH1s,
those
you know.
those were the people of color I was able
Yeah,
to watch
yeah.
stories that were I
You see
understood.
Friday every week on like
Exactly.
TV and shit like
I
that.
grow up laughing at Friday After Next
Yeah,
Friday.
yeah,
Those are some of my favorite movies. So
yeah,
uh, one of my favorite action movies of all time is Cradle to the Grave. It's Jet Li and DMX. It's
Oh
an
yeah,
Asian
yeah,
and black
yeah.
lead.
It's
Like
pretty
those,
good. Crazy.
I grew up at and
DMX took a huge turnaround. I got before he passed. Yeah, I seen him at fucking Rock and Roll Ralph's, which is the Ralph's on Sunset.
I remember the story.
You go down La Brea. That's not Rock and Roll
Was it
Ralph's.
they ain't got no bags.
Yeah, you said that. They ain't got no bags. It's like you got. I was thinking in my head, it's like you got to ask for him, DMX. You got you got to ask for him. And we're just looking at him. I was like, is that DMX? Is that him? And it's like, or is that just that's just this guy looks at him and he's like, he heard his voice like, they ain't got no bags. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's got to be him. And he looked at us, and he does this, and he's like, and he just walks out. It's like, he also didn't have a mask. That's how we knew it. It was like July 2020.
This was like a few months before he died.
Yeah,
right?
a few months before he died. Like, a few months or a couple months. It was pretty soon. It was
Dude,
like,
I
damn.
totally remember like
He's like, we just seen him.
Yeah, I totally remember like hearing the news and like texted you. I was like, because again,
Yeah, like really.
you guys had just told us the story like few months before.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. Dude.
Yeah. R.I.P. DMX. Okay, yeah, again, just me doing the they ain't got no bags right now.
Yeah, definitely was like, yeah, there's a good DMX impression.
I wasn't being racist. I was just trying to be accurate.
It was culturally appropriate.
And I think we'll end on that note.
Yeah.
Regardless of anything else we wanted to talk about, which I did already say.
That's just American culture, because DMX fucking, what was that? Woodstock or something like that? What was that concert where like all those people showed up?
Woodstock. Wait, which was it? One that like
all those like millions of people showed up, like shitload of people showed up. It was like a rock concert, but DMX was there. I don't know.
If DMX was there, maybe Lollapalooza, but like I don't know if it was Woodstock, because Woodstock was the '60s.
But didn't they revive Woodstock?
Like, if Monica was here, she could totally fact check all. I'm not caring about fact checking at all. This
bring
episode.
Another Woodstock back, and it was like kind of terrible because it was just like super shitty.
I believe it, and I believe millions of people would have shown up for DX.
It was like '90s. It was '90s Woodstock, and it was awful. But a shitload of people showed up. It was like fucking stadium full, like even more than stadium.
No, I think I remember.
Yeah, I
think like Red Hot Chili Peppers started a fire or some shit.
Yeah, it was like that.
Yeah.
It was fucking a crazy night. Yeah.
Well, on that note, love your fellow brother, no matter the race, color, or creed, gender, identity, or any of that shit, because people are people. Why should it be? You and I should get along.
So yeah, don't discredit their experience.
Yeah. Understand your fellow man. If you don't know someone of a different breed, don't blame yourself. Ignorance is defensible, but it's not the goal.
Something to be proud of.
Yeah. And have a good night, everyone. This is a good discussion. I know we went off on a few tangents, but someone should be able to find some good nuggets of truth in what we did and what we said.
Yeah. As long as better than the silence.
Yeah. No, we kept it going. Mm-hmm. Have a good night, everyone. Peace, love, and conquest.